Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Somber Ghoul. Am I the a-hole for cancelling my wedding? My possibly soon-to-be ex, male 28, and I, female 25, were due to be married less than a week ago. We are very untraditional and spent the night before together, just talking and reminiscing on what got us to that point. I've always known he's been bi and it's never been an issue, it's just who he is. We have a very close-knit group of friends and he and his best friend grew up together and were one another's support system throughout university. He's been very open about all this since I first met him. However, one thing I wasn't aware of is that they were involved and that my possible ex is still in love with him and the feeling is mutual. I asked him if he'd cheated on me before, and he confessed to a few slip-ups, but refused to go into detail. The morning of the wedding, I woke up feeling sick and just totally overwhelmed and stressed. I was questioning everything that's happened since we got together and spoke to his best friend to confirm what I'd been told, which he did after an attempt to lie. I've since cancelled the wedding and told him I need time to think. But I'm not sure I can get past the cheating. I feel emotionally shattered. It's only been a few days, but his family and mine keep calling me, trying to get me to feel guilty for my choice. We were paying for our wedding ourselves, and it was a small local affair, but I understand people might be disappointed that something they've waited for isn't going to happen, possibly ever. So, am I the a-hole? OP, you're not the a-hole or the bad guy. You found out the day before your wedding that your fiancé cheated on you more than once, hid a romantic past and present feelings for his best friend, and wasn't honest even when confronted. You didn't ruin anything, you protected yourself. Canceling a wedding is hard, but entering a lifelong commitment under betrayal and half-truth would be so much harder. Personally, OP, I don't think you need any more time to think. He cheated, and that's it. Walking away isn't selfish, it's self-respect. The wedding didn't fall apart, he blew it. People are calling because they're reacting to disappointment, not because they're living with the betrayal that you experienced. You owed them nothing. You don't need to explain or defend your decision. Your family and friends may be disappointed, but they're not the ones who were lied to. Now you trusted your gut and that takes strength. Hold on to it. You already made the right choice. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Mental Somewhere 120 says, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or feels about it. This is your decision alone and you shouldn't be guilted into doing so. It's wild that he hid that from you at all, but then to tell you on the night before the wedding? Be thankful this was before it was done so you can think about it before taking that plunge. Puzzle-headed Army 316 says, your hopefully ex came clean about his feelings for the other guy and the cheating the night before the wedding because he didn't want to go through with it and he knew that you wouldn't either if you knew the truth. Or he was hoping that you would tell him that it's okay for him to be with both of you. Tell anyone who reaches out to question your decision the whole truth of why you've called off the wedding. Him being bi doesn't mean he's allowed to cheat on you with men or women. Cheating is cheating, regardless of orientation. No one is obligated to marry a partner who cheated on them because unless he had reason to believe that you were dead, he chose to betray you. And he didn't care how much it would hurt you when you found out. He sounds like a selfish a-hole who you would be much better off without. Cute Profession 9983 says, do the families know why? Because if they're blaming you, time to set the record straight, pun intended. And OP responds, no they don't. I feel weird outing him, so to speak. I've been trying to figure out how to tell them without giving all the details. I know it's odd, but I still feel like I owe him that, and I don't know why. Initial Shop 8863 says, not the a-hole. The issue here is not that he is bi. The issue might not even be that you would like your marriage to be closed and exclusive to only the two of you. The issue is that he cheated on you, hid it, betrayed you, and probably expected to continue doing so. You are the only one who can decide if this is a relationship breaker for you now and forever. If now that you know you don't mind sharing, it's not a deal breaker. If you don't want to share, then you can't marry this man. As for what to tell your family or others if you choose not to marry him and to walk away permanently, if it were me, I would just tell them that you both realized he's in love with someone else. And A Brick in the Gray says, not the a-hole. To have your fiancé tell you about cheating on you the night before you were meant to be married seems a bit calculated to me. Like, he was having second thoughts and didn't want to be the one to cancel things, so told you about the cheating, knowing that you would do it instead. I am also so sorry that this has happened to you. I can only imagine how devastating it has been considering the complexity of how it all has unfolded. If your family and or his do not know about the cheating, at the very least you should tell your own family so that you have emotional support for the decision you have made with some understanding from them instead of being questioned for your decision. You do not owe him protection from the judgment he may receive because of choices he made. You owe yourself the emotional support you need to make it through this with people who love you and understand why you did what was best for you. Stars. Alright, well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, that she doesn't owe anything to hopefully her future ex, and that she should just tell everybody what's going on. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I'm sorry it's taken a bit to update. I've been waiting for things to settle and it's taken a while. When I wrote my post, I was emotionally wrecked and desperately in need of an outsider's perspective. I haven't answered every comment I got, but I have read them all and wanted to say thank you to everyone who took their time to reply. Most of the comments were very thoughtful and supportive, and I can't tell you how much that meant. Onto the situation itself. I gave myself some time to get my head straight and get tested. Thankfully, I was given the all clear for my tests, so the next morning was to deal with everything. I invited my ex-fiancé and his best friend over for dinner. I know that sounds weird to do, but I thought I wanted to talk to them and do it in a scenario where we are all comfortable in, or as comfortable as we could be. They agreed. Being able to observe both of them through a new lens also really helped, and they're definitely in love with one another just by their mannerisms and the way they are when they think no one is looking. I wish I'd clocked on so much sooner. My ex kept apologizing, and the more he apologized, the more upset his best friend was getting, and the more he retracted that apology. I told him it wasn't about apologies anymore. I just wanted to understand. What I think I've gathered from the whole thing is that, as many of you have pointed out, I've been an unsuspecting beard for our entire relationship. Granted, it seems to be unwittingly, but still, I think there's some deep homophobia running through my ex, as he reacted negatively when I asked if he thought perhaps he might be gay and not bi. When his best friend tried to talk, he shut him down so fast I actually felt a little bad for him, the bestie. I also found out that where I thought he'd told his family he was bi, he actually hasn't. Some of our mutual close friends know, but that seems to be it. Nevertheless, my ex and I are not getting back together. The engagement is officially over, and I've swapped out my phone number to avoid some of the ridiculous texts I'm getting from various guests. To those who've asked, after discussing it with my ex, I've simply said that he's not who I thought he was and left it at that. It's the truth without going into any details. It's up to him if he wants to stay in the closet, but I'm not getting involved any longer. I gave him back his engagement ring, and though he asked if we could keep in touch, I feel like it's done. His best friend also offered to pay for my wedding dress as an apology for his part in it. I declined, but the offer was still nice. I will be moving soon, found a place, just waiting for the moving date, and I'm looking forward to starting fresh in a new home. I realized I couldn't be in that house and wonder as I went around where my ex and his best friend had cheated on me and analyzing every memory. It's been exhausting and I'm still very much devastated, but I'm also glad I went with my gut and cancelled the wedding when I did, because it would have been such a mistake to go ahead with it. I did know his best friend is gay, yes. Still, it never occurred to me that there was anything other than brotherly friendship between them. Though, looking back, they were and have always been very affectionate towards each other. However, I dismissed it because the best friend is quite a touchy-feely person anyway. Anyway, I've gotten a therapist to help me, and I suggested, gently, that my ex and his best friend also get one. I don't know if they will, but I think it'd help the both of them. Well, OP, I think you've done the right thing. You've cut the cord and you're moving on, and whatever happens to your ex and his best friend, or whatever they are, if they're a couple or not, it's on them and they get to decide. You get to move on. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user RhubarbSpare1053. Am I the a-hole for recording my friend's fiancé at her bachelorette party and playing the recording for him? I was invited to the bachelorette party for my friend's fiancé. It was over the long weekend at a vacation rental on the beach. There was booze, a hot tub, great food. It was definitely a hit. At one point, I was on the deck looking at the ocean, and the bride was drunk in the hot tub with two of her friends. She said she felt more relaxed than she had in a while. I assumed she was referring to wedding planning. Then, one of her friends asked if she was having trouble with the little monster. The bride said no, that he was manageable for now. At that point, I realized they were talking about my friend's son. I took out my phone and started recording them. The bride's friends said horrible stuff about my friend's son, and the bride responded positively to everything, laughing and agreeing. Then she said it was too bad he wasn't old enough to send to military school. I stopped recording when their topic changed. I don't think they ever realized I was close enough to hear them. When we got back, I asked to meet with my friend and I played him the recording. He was quiet while he listened. After the recording was finished, he asked me to send it to him, which I did. Then he asked me to delete it, which I said I would do, but haven't yet. I feel like an a-hole for interfering, I really do. However, I'm worried about my friend's son. Depending on what my friend does, I might need to send this recording to the poor boy's family. I feel like I've overstepped, but what else can I do? Was I being an a-hole? No, OP, you're not the a-hole. You didn't gossip. You acted out of concern for a child. You got proof of how his future stepmother actually feels about him. Then you went straight to his father, who should be in the know, and you gave him the truth, and the decision was up to him. I don't think you overstepped. I think you stepped up. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments. Average Happy 6876 says, I get why you feel conflicted, but protecting that little boy matters more than some social boundary. If someone was treating my kid like that, I'd want to know too. Silent Handle 6041 says, you weren't being an a-hole, you were being a concerned friend. If someone is about to marry a person who openly disrespects their child, they deserve to know. It's better he finds out now than after they're married. Bravo1 says, having a recording is irrefutable compared to hearsay if you simply told them this is what your soon-to-be wife was saying about your kid. Ultimately, she will become the child's stepmom, so he as a father needs to know what he's getting himself into, and hopefully he can manage the situation so it resolves for the child who's most important. And I changed my name to hide says, you gave the recording to the person that needed to hear it, not the a-hole. However, that is where your involvement in the situation should end. You no longer know what's going on in that relationship and you have no details. I call my niece and nephew demons because they are 7 and almost 4, and it is their job to experience the world and have questions and push boundaries. It has nothing to do with how much I love them. I would upend my life for those 2 kids if needed, and I spoil the crap out of them, with parents' permission of course. She is completely allowed to vent to her friends. The father has the information and sending this video to other people because you don't know how your friend handled the situation with his fiancé, that would be too far in my opinion. And plus ad 9181 says, this doesn't sound like a big deal as long as she's not mistreating the kid. People vent to their friends. Being a step-parent comes with challenges. Additional information from OP's comments. The boy's 2 years old. He's super cute and super sweet. He's a little fish. He always wants to jump in the water and swim around. I just worry about him. It's bad enough that his mom isn't in his life anymore. He deserves love and support. He is not a monster at all. He doesn't have any behaviors atypical for his age group. The worst thing he does is that he keeps trying to take his clothes off in public because it's so hot this summer. My friend is a great dad who loves his son very much. Well, the majority of the community agrees that what OP did was the right thing and she was not the a-hole. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Yesterday afternoon, I got a text from my friend asking me to block his fiance's number. I was a bit thrown by the request and asked if everything was okay. He said he couldn't talk right now and asked me to please just block the number. So I blocked the number. I have this weird glitch in my Android Auto where if a blocked number calls me, it shows up in my recent calls as a missed call on my car's screen, even though on my actual phone it doesn't ring at all. I was driving later and saw a ton of missed calls from her. There were so many, it exceeded what my car will show me. I kept the number blocked. Later, my friend's best friend, who was supposed to be the best man, called me and asked me if I have heard from our friend. I said yes and asked why. He sent me a screenshot from the fiancé's Facebook talking about how people show you their true colors and saying she was newly single. I tried to call my friend, but he didn't answer. Tonight, I finally heard back from him. The long and short of it is that he asked her how she feels about his son. She said he's adorable and sweet. My friend played her the recording and she asked where he got it. He refused to tell her, saying it shouldn't matter. She immediately guessed it was me. He refused to confirm that. She was angry that he wouldn't tell her I recorded her conversation and said she can't trust him anymore. He didn't give me a word-for-word rundown of their conversation, but from what he told me, once the topic shifted to her wanting to know who recorded her, it never went back to what she said in the video. Anyway, she called off the wedding because of this. I feel really bad for him, but at least this way she can't play the "he left me right before our wedding" card though. To be honest, I don't know what to expect about this whole thing, but it definitely wasn't this. I thought maybe she would say she was taken out of context or something, but shifting the topic completely from the son to the recording, that I didn't anticipate. And there was stuff in that video you'd want to have a conversation about. Like one of the bride's friends saying she wouldn't be able to put up with such a gross kid. To which the bride laughed and agreed it was difficult. Another asked if she ever wishes he wouldn't come up when he's always jumping in the water. She said no, but she also laughed, and I don't think laughter was an acceptable response to such a horrible comment. Another friend said if her son had stripped naked in public, she would slap him, to which the bride said she was too shocked to react. My friend's son is 2 and sometimes tries to take his clothes off outside because the summer has been hot. I'm assuming they were referring to such an event. Anyway, I already deleted the recording after so many comments on the original post advised me to. He still has his copy, unless he also deleted it, but mine is gone. I'm glad I got rid of it. His choice on how to handle everything from this point forward, as it should be. Thanks for all the advice. OP, you did the right thing. Your loyalty protected a child and gave your friend clarity. That's what real friendship looks like. Hard truths, not easy silence. You should be proud of yourself. Your friend and his son are now better off thanks to you. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.